was different than it was today, where you had like a transfer portal.
Yeah,
and
right.
stuff. Like now, back then it was like you wrote down the schools you wanted to talk to on a list, and then they could like reach out to you. So I wrote down Oklahoma kind of randomly, like Oregon, and then like the other ones that like people would consider transferring to.
What, CU? I
was too intimidated
to
go to CU. I had read Running the Buffaloes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, like I couldn't hang there.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Talking While Running. Special guest here coming out of retirement for the brand, the one and only Riley Masters. How you doing, dude?
Doing okay. I was gonna say I'm excited to get this show on the road so I can actually talk. I feel like I may lose my breath here pretty soon.
Okay, well, we'll just edit the pace so it looks like we're going super fast.
There you go.
One of the best, well, I don't even know where to start. The best runner from Maine, I would say. First and foremost, 354 miler, all types of different stuff under your belt, but I like to start with the origin story. I saw actually that you wanted to do like baseball, but got cut.
Yep.
And so you said that you could time your running at that moment in high school with a sundial because you were slow. And now you're a 354 miler, pro runner, all that. Like, can you confirm that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most runners, I was like a late bloomer, and I think that's how a lot of us, it's not necessarily a unique story.
Yeah.
A lot of us get into it because we wanted to play other sports, weren't necessarily big enough. So that was my story. I was a big baseball player, but I was not fast whatsoever getting down the base paths. So everyone called me Riley, the rally killer. But,
oh my God.
So all of my high school friends are all astonished that I became a professional runner.
That's insane.
I was the slowest guy. But
well, good lesson for everyone out there.
Exactly.
A little development, a little time, and you can do anything.
That's right.
Okay, so then what was like, the culture once you got into running and realized, you could develop some speed and get better? In Maine, no less, what was the running like out there, and what kind of also made you passionate about it or got you hooked?
Yeah, I mean, Maine, actually, for being a small state, we have a pretty good, quite a few good runners from the state.
Right. So, Emily Durgan comes to mind.
Yeah, But Wilgo Keegan was a really good runner.
Yeah.
Obviously, a Joan Benoit, so
oh yeah.
Yeah, we got one of the best of all time. But no, I think it was good for me because Maine high school running isn't that competitive, so I was able to transition and get a pretty I was never in over my head. So that helped me with a good progression.
That makes sense.
And then it helped that my team was one of the best in the state as well. So we won a state championship my junior year.
Do you pronounce it Bangor?
Bangor. Yeah.
We'll bleep that.
That's right. But anyway, so that helped me. Having the team aspect kind of got me into it, and then I saw a lot of individual success after that.
Mm-hmm. So, what was maybe the highlight or memory of a race from the high school days that stands out?
Yeah, my junior year, I was at the state meet. I never rode 4:30 before.
Okay.
And breaking 4:30, you're good. In the state
Sure, yeah.
So I wanted our team to win. So I took the race out super hard, and I ended up running 4:20 in the race. So a massive PR.
Yeah.
And I got out kicked with 10 meters to go by one of my teammates.
Oh wow.
And he PR'd too. So that was probably the best one. Taking 10 seconds off, not even really knowing how fast I was running, and
just letting it all go.
Exactly. And then we obviously secured the state title.
That was my next question.
Too. Yeah.
That's sick.
So it was good.
And then you went on first to the University of Maine.
Yep.
Or is it Maine University?
University of Maine.
Okay.
Yeah, Black Bears.
So obviously that might make sense off the top, you're from there, but was there anything more to that decision? Was it just, this is the state school, I'm here, let's do it? Yeah,
I grew up 15 minutes from the University of Maine.
Wow.
So it was kind of a safer option. Growing up, didn't have a lot, and it was kind of what my parents could afford.
Okay.
And I wasn't I wasn't receiving a lot of offers or anything, so it kind of was just, I knew I wanted to go D1, and Maine seemed like the logical decision.
Right.
And I love my time at UMaine. It was super fun. Again, like kind of like a good progression where like I was able to go from being one of the best in high school to being like one of the best in like our conference in college. So it like helped me see like continued success, where I think if I had maybe gone to like a bigger program, I would have got lost in the crowd to start and maybe lost interest. But yeah, I enjoyed the fact that I saw relative success right away.
Yeah, you broke 4 going off of that.
Yep.
And man, so you also have a great article that we'll link, kind of like telling the tale of that.
Yeah.
And it's a sick race because also I watched it. At one point you're just like and you like step out and then kick. I think it's like the last lap or two.
Yeah.
What was that like? What did that race kind of do for you long term, breaking 4 and solidifying yourself as like a legit D1 guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. First, that was like back in 2010.
Yeah.
When breaking 4 was like much more rare, I would say. Like,
it's still there.
It's still a cool accomplishment, no matter what. But so I think I had seen some people run under 4 like a year prior to the same race, and I knew I was going to do it. It just seemed like the thing that like elevated you to elite status.
Right.
And like my PR was 4:06 at the time, so just a lot of confidence after I did that. Like I just felt like I belonged.
Right.
And I beat a good field when I did it. So yeah, I think it helped a lot. And then I think more importantly, like went on to be an All-American indoors that year and finished 5th. So it made me feel much more like much more legitimate on the college scene.
Right.
Yeah. Probably got too big of a head after that, but yeah.
Okay, well we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
I hit up a teammate of yours who also we did an episode with, Brandon Doty.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I asked him, what's the deal with it, Riley? And he said, ask him about his philosophy for breaking 4 is like literally just run 59 quarters until like you don't blow up anymore.
Yeah.
Is that what you would recommend still?
I do feel like that's a fair philosophy.
Yeah.
I think first time I did it, it was just like, all right, just like constantly stay where it says like there's a 9 on the clock. Because you're on a 200-meter track, so it's like, every 200 meters you're getting a split. And it's like, okay, as long as it says 29, 59, 129, just keep going.
Yeah.
And it's like you can get it done. And it's like all of us can run 29-second quarters.
Sorry,
200s.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll just keep running 29-second quarters or 200s until
it's genius, honestly.
Well, yeah, right. It's pretty simple. So anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I guess that's my philosophy. I don't know. I think I was probably more like cocky about it in college, where I was like, anyone can do it.
Right.
I'm sure Doty, I probably gave him more like upperclassmen advice of just being like, suck it up and do it.
Right. So then you did go on to touch on Brandon and the other teammates. You transferred to Oklahoma. What do you remember about like that process and then that decision and kind of the initial experience?
Yeah, I mean, I transferred my junior year, and I had I kind of considered it my sophomore year. Stuck it out at Maine because I liked it so much there.
Yeah.
The thing that stuck out the most about the process was like it happened so quickly.
Oh,
it was different than it was today, where you had like a transfer portal.
Yeah,
and
right.
stuff. Like now, back then it was like you wrote down the schools you wanted to talk to on a list, and then they could like reach out to you. So I wrote down Oklahoma kind of randomly, like Oregon, and then like the other ones that like people would consider transferring to.
What, CU?
I was too intimidated
to
go to CU. I had read Running the Buffaloes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, like I couldn't hang there. So anyway, Oklahoma called like hours after getting my release.
No way.
And I was on a recruiting visit 2 days later.
Whoa.
And committed like 3 days later.
That's insane.
So yeah, it was cool. And then what was funny about it was, and like I'm sure the statute of limitations is up on this, but Pat Casey like texted me when he found out I was transferring because he was at Montana State.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you should transfer too. He was on a recruiting visit the next day and then signed 3 days later.
Wow.
So we went from being like a really good program to having like 2 of the top 5 milers at the time. So
I didn't know that about Casey. I thought he was part of the reason, or he was already there.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, it was he was at Montana State, and we used to go like run warm-ups together and stuff at nationals.
Right.
So we get to know one another, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, what are we doing? Oh, we're chilling. Okay. So yeah, I think we're chilling on the pace a little. If you want, you're good. Little break. All right. All right. Well.
No, we're good. Are we getting too much? I'm not in frame. Okay, there we go.
No, we're good. Yeah. I didn't want to keep searching. All
I'm
right.
trying not to like look at myself in this like
You're fine.
hilarious form.
Handsome devil. So then you do have the 1500 record outdoor at Oklahoma still. So what was that race like? And what do we got to do to keep that secure, or is there anyone that you think is going to knock it off soon?
I think to address the latter part of that, Oklahoma's kind of maybe dialed it back from like the distance investment. So I think I'm safe for a couple years.
Yeah.
But you never know. That race also with these shoes too. It's like my time almost feels like very vulnerable at any moment. But so anyway, it was an Olympic year. It was 2012.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go to the trials. And at the time, it was 3:39 was the auto time. So I had won Big 12s. We got home, and Oxy was the next week. And my coach invited me to Oxy.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, I got you into a fast heat at Oxy. Let's go do this."
Yeah.
And it worked out. It was actually kind of funny. It was like Rupp, Mo Farah.
Oh shit.
And like kind of think like Robbie Andrews was in it.
Wow.
It was a good field. And I was just this like young college guy.
That's lit.
And I remember that was when Steve Magnus coached at NOP.
Right.
And he looked me in the eye before the race and he was like, "Just get in the back and you'll run fast." And I was just like, okay. So I went straight to the back. Ended up finishing, I don't know, probably middle of the pack.
Right.
Ran 3:37, but
that's insane.
Still a school record.
Wow, great story. We'll see if I can drop some footage from that race.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We could go on. We could go on about NCAA's, but I'd love to go to the pro transition.
Yeah.
Next, you went with Brooks, I think.
Yep.
Right away out of college with Brooks Beast. Were you part of like the initial founding squad of that, or how long had it been around?
Yeah, they had like a group of already established pros that were all like coming together in Seattle, and it was like Katie Mackett or Mackey, like a few others.
Simmons?
But then, and Simmons actually joined later.
Okay.
But it was like me and Kaz Loxham were the two like kind of like pioneers or first like
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Recruiting class. Yeah. Which was fun to be a part of something new.
So what was that experience like in Seattle and training with the Beast?
Yeah, I mean I thought still some like really close friends come from that time of my life. Like Garrett Heath was the best man at my wedding, and
that's right.
Yeah, awesome people. I think for like I don't think I actually ran as well as I wanted to when I was there.
Sure.
But like, it's proven that Beast, like there's a really great training system there. They all run well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it necessarily fit me, so when my contract ran up, I was like ready to find the next thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the next thing was Nike.
Yeah.
So take us through that too.
Yeah, so actually the next thing was just simply
I
was living in Seattle. My now wife, Sarah, was living in Boulder.
Shout out.
Yeah, training with Mark Wetmore, and had just finished her 5th year at CU. So my contract was up, and I was like, okay, I'm actually just gonna retire.
Hell yeah.
And I'll like, I wasn't really running well enough to like consider going further. And then moved to Boulder, was like just kind of bored and was running while I was trying to find a job. And Wetmore just kind of reached out through Sarah.
Wow.
And was like, hey, I'll coach you.
I didn't know any of this.
And I was like, oh, all right. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah, Coach Wetmore.
So that kind of got me to commit to 4 more years of running. And I went unsponsored for a little while, and then had a good race at the US Road Mile Champs.
Yeah.
And then Nike, happened pretty quickly, just like over the weekend. They reached out with a contract, and we signed it, and yeah, that was kind of how that came about.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's flip here. I have a lot to go off of that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm not sure where.
Was nice.
All right, well, anyway, hold on. So, where were we? Okay, so you started with Wetmore
Yep.
around that time. And then, did you also assistant coach with
I did, yeah. So that didn't come on until like a little bit later. Like it was, Mark and I developed like a really good friendship.
Yeah.
And there was like a lot of trust there. So right before, let's see, it's 2018.
Okay.
I was getting married. And I was actually like leaving
Congrats.
Boulder. Thank you. Leaving Boulder for like a week or two to go do the whole like marriage honeymoon thing.
Yep.
And Mark kind of pulled me aside one day and was like, "Hey, I want you to be an assistant coach." And I was like, "Oh, of course, like,
yeah,
that's awesome." So, and like, yeah, I just have so much respect for the guy. So probably one of like the biggest like privileges of my career. Yeah.
That's cool. What did you, maybe a nugget or a takeaway from his coaching that you've picked up? We're on his hallowed grounds here.
Yeah, I mean, probably the person I looked up to like the most in the world is Mark Wetmore. And
that's awesome.
The thing he's taught me, I think it applies, like I just applied to like my job now, is just patience. It's like, don't react too like aggressively to anything.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lesson I desperately needed to learn.
Sure.
So whether it was in training, a race, like the weight room, or in like my sales cycle now, like it's just patience.
Yeah.
Like things will pay out. Just like gotta approach everything with a calm mind and move appropriately.
Trust the process.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably it. I mean, not like the most exciting thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Mark's great, is like he doesn't try to do anything too exciting.
Right.
He just like, it's like every day get out there and grind, and
it's the grind.
Yeah, and be patient.
All right, so then, well, let's jump in. I want to learn more about that road mile.
Yeah.
Was that, I think I saw, was that something you said was one of the highlights of your career looking back, or is that a different race I'm thinking of?
Yeah, I think I had a couple, but I think that was one that I look back really fondly of. It's like, you know, it was a U.S. championship, and like, I think the roads like aren't always the most prestigious, but yeah, it's just fun to like get that title, I guess. And it was something I was like just targeting throughout the winter, like through all those like patient months of just like running 20 miles every Sunday and putting those 100-mile weeks. It was like, all right, this is the race. We're gonna like, it's gonna like prove all this is working, and it did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was probably one of my favorite moments, just a validation.
And then about like kind of going into more specifics about the training there, it sounds like half the amount of volume per a mile approach. Is that sort of so that you could key off with longer distance stuff, or is that just what you found that worked? Or
wait, sorry, one more time.
Was you seem like a higher mileage guy?
Yeah.
Trying to train for a mile. Was that from Wetmore? Is that just your personal taste, or?
No, I think that's just Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I just kind of trusted whatever he had me doing. I knew obviously it's his results speak for themselves. And truly, I wasn't a high mileage guy up until I moved to Boulder.
Okay, yeah.
And then it was just like, all right, whatever Mark says, I'm gonna do it. Yeah,
for sure. Okay, no, that makes sense. And then I do want to talk about the retirement decision.
Yeah.
But before that, like, maybe take us back to the 2020 and kind of before that, I think you were still with Nike.
Yep.
And I am the 2020 trials. So what do you remember about that time? I'm sure it was like increasingly painful with that injury.
Yeah.
What do you recall?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was frustrating because I had been running as well as I ever had, like 2018 and then early 2019.
Yeah.
And then 2019, I knew something was wrong, and I was just running through it. Like I had a ton of fitness, but like just couldn't like push off the ground correctly because I just had such a bad issue with my Achilles.
Yeah.
And so that kind of led to the decision. Like I was just trying to get through the trials and then figure it out from there, like most people do. And I was just running through pretty excruciating pain, like end of 2019 up till like COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, I was just like, you know what? Like, I think this could be it, or I definitely need to fix this problem.
Right.
And this seems to be a good opportunity to. But yeah, so I guess that's kind of how that was. Just a really dark time.
Yeah. A
lot of pain. Still like not 100%, but.
Oh, really? So,
yeah.
First of all, I was looking into the injury, and I was, you have like a picture of how bad it was on that Achilles, or was it visible?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, you could look down at the back of my heel and see that there was something protruding.
A bulge,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks. Well, also, so how did the surgery go? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
takeaway.
It's kind of funny, like, throughout my running career, I've kind of noticed that there are maybe trendy injuries. That, like, when I was in college, it was like everyone was getting compartment syndrome surgery. Like,
what's that school name?
It's like your like shins are really tight.
Okay.
And like you have like too much pressure inside your like calves and shins, and yeah, I'm not really sure exactly.
That checks out.
Yeah, and then for a while it was like sports hernias.
Yeah.
Like 2016, everyone was getting that. And then turns out that like the Haglund's deformity surgery was like kind of popular for a while.
That's
like
what the cool kids were doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had like probably like 10 people reach out to me since, and like have all had the surgery.
Damn.
And then like Vanessa Frazier had it right before me, Sean McGordy. So actually Galen Rupp.
I was gonna add
so it was nice. I was still at Nike at the time, so I spoke with all of them leading into it.
Damn.
And they were super cool resources to chat with. So yeah, I appreciated that.
Yeah, it helps to have that. But often we can bleep this. Do you think it had to do with the shoes, or is it just a happenstance?
I mean, for me, it was kind of coincidental.
Yeah.
And I actually brought it up to my surgeon, who's done the surgery for like most of these people.
That we named, yeah.
And he's doing a study on it now to see if that's a thing. Because my theory is that there are like for me, I always did okay without the shoes because I was kind of a toe striker.
Sure.
And I think, regardless of anyone's opinion on Shelby Houlihan, I think she was running really well. She's also a toe striker. But it seems like the shoe really benefits those who maybe aren't as like naturally efficient or are efficient in a different way.
And the cushion.
Yeah. So I think it really led to my demise. Yeah, or at least
that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like
no, of course.
Yeah, I also love Nike more than anyone could ever love a brand.
Right.
So, yeah, I think what they're doing is awesome, and like, I love their innovation.
Right. You're also, I mean, you're running like over 100-mile weeks, doubles, lifts.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard thing to manage. So, take us through now. What's on the radar? I know you're not training a ton, but I did see you said you might be interested in a marathon one day. Is that on the horizon? Not so much yet. Any itch?
I mean, like, occasionally, I don't know if probably they can see it. Like, I have a pretty bad hitch in my stride, still from the Achilles. So, I would say one day when that heals, like, I'll probably go try to run just a marathon just to say I did it.
Yeah.
Never competitively, though.
Okay.
I think the goal now is just get my handicap down as low as I can.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some breaking news on you.
Yeah.
No, that's sick. So I've asked this before with a lot of people, but I think your perspective, you got the Brooks, you got the Nike, you got all that, the injury stuff that you just talked about, a lot of perspective. What's sort of, a little bit of an open-ended question, but what's sort of your overall feelings toward just like the pro running scene? Is it healthy right now? What do you like to see? And maybe what's something that gets you frustrated or something that we could work on?
Yeah, no, I mean, truthfully, I'm more excited about the pro scene now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's such a fun time to be a fan.
Yeah.
Like, guys like Cooper Tier, Joe Klecker,
yeah.
Like, just those guys are so, Grant Fisher, so exciting to watch. And truthfully, like, watching Joe and training with him closely at CU, I just knew it was time for me to call it because he was so hungry, so talented, and like, I had that at one point in my career, but I was just like, didn't match his enthusiasm, and it was like, let's go give these other guys the opportunity.
That's interesting.
And it's so fun to be on the other end and support them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you interested in coaching maybe on that side, or like continuing with what you learned from Wetmore, or?
I think someday, like, it's really intriguing.
Okay.
And like, that was my goal, was like to be a coach at some point.
Way back when?
Yeah, kind of when I was running.
Yeah.
But it's also like, there's a gigantic world out there. And like, for me, I went immediately into sales, ended up with a really good role at Adobe, and I just love it. And so it's like, I don't think now I'll ever go back.
Right.
Because I'm just enjoying seeing what else like the world has to offer. Because running's such a small portion of it.
That's a great lesson too for
runners
now who maybe, hesitant or scared about putting their toe in the waters out there.
Yeah, and like, I definitely think I am really grateful for chasing it as long as I did. Like, I had a good 7.5, 8 year career.
Good to say the least.
Right, but And I think it really, like, I was always super anxious about what was coming after running. And it turns out, like, what made me good at running is, like, making me good at my new career as well. So
that makes sense.
I think a lot of runners have more maybe value than they give themselves credit for from, like, a professional perspective.
Yeah, dude. I was just talking about that with Haruni and Molly. Episode dropping soon. But off camera, like, do you think that almost athletes going into the workplace or business or whatever, like, have an advantage because you're just, like, understanding what you said, like, the long process, like, being patient, putting in work, stacking bricks.
Yeah.
Have you seen that too?
Oh, 100%. I think, like, just perseverance is probably the biggest one. Like, I mean, I work in sales, so it's like you'll have somebody that you have to reach out to, like, 5 or 6 times
right,
before they'll even, like, respond to your first email. And it's like, it's something I just learned in running. But I also think, like, it's helped me. Like, I've seen pretty immediate success where I am. And then, you know, my wife, Sarah, she's still running professionally, but she is working for a company called Splunk.
Okay.
And also, like, has been there since October. Has already been promoted. And, like,
wow, okay.
is just killing it too. So
I see, yeah.
It's just that athlete mentality of, like, understanding that if you're not going to work hard, like, someone else is.
Damn, yeah. I love it. We'll have to get Sarah on an episode too.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be sick. So, I asked this to Molly and Haruni too, like, maybe more, obviously it's probably not as big of a deal now, but when you were still training and Sarah was still training too, like, any advice for people who are dating, if we do a new segment, relationship advice from runners, like, how did you manage that? You know, both of you going basically all out all the time, training, chasing goals. How did that, you know, work out?
Yeah, I mean, I think enjoy it. Like, whether it was going well for me or well for Sarah, it was like, I don't know, it was always something to be supportive of.
Yeah.
And someone to be supportive of you. So it was nice to have a fan every day. Like, someone who could, like, understand exactly what you're going through. So
hell yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, well, we're nearing the end here. Before I forget, make sure to check out the description. We'll drop all of Riley's social media. Hit him with that follow, hit him with that likes. All the run details will be on Trackster, also linked below. Dude, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course.
I'd love to have you back on more and more. Get you running.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is a good way to motivate me to run.
Okay, good.
If anyone knows anyone who needs marketing automation software.
Hell yeah, dude. We'll drop that too. Use this promo code on Adobe products.
That's right.
Dude, yeah, thanks so much.
Of course.
Hell yeah.